She helped the mechanic without charging a dime. Weeks later, 7 semi-trucks stopped at her house. Emily Johnson was coming back from nursing school when she saw the young mechanic sitting on the curb, his hands covered in grease as he hid his face. His car was stalled on the road with the hood open, smoke rising from it, and she could tell by his desperation that something serious was going on. "Do you need help?" Emily asked, stopping her car and stepping out to get a better look. The young man lifted his face, and she saw tears mixed with the grime. He was in his mid-20s, with messy brown hair and dark eyes full of anguish. "My name is Tyler Williams. My car broke down, and I need to get to the auto shop urgently. Today's the last day to finish a big job. If I don't make it, I'll lose my job and—" His voice cracked. Emily glanced at the engine and immediately recognized the issue with the radiator. She had grown up helping her father in the family auto shop before he sold it years ago to pay off debts. She knew her way around cars, even though she'd chosen nursing as her career. "Stay calm. Let me take a look." She took off her white blouse, tying it around her waist, and pulled her hair back. Tyler was surprised when he realized she actually knew what she was doing. Emily grabbed the basic tools she always kept in her trunk, leftover habits from helping her dad. "You really know about this stuff?" he asked, still skeptical. "My dad had an auto shop, learned it young." She was already working under the hood. "The problem's with the water pump. I can patch it up for now, but you'll need to replace it soon." For 2 hours, Emily worked on Tyler's car. Her hands were filthy, her clothes stained with grease, but she didn't mind. She saw the same desperation in his face that her father had when their shop was struggling. "How much do I owe you?" Tyler asked when the car finally started. "Nothing. Just help someone else when you can." She washed her hands with the water he had in his car. "But that's not right. You worked for hours, gave up your afternoon." "It's fine. Good luck with your job," Tyler insisted. But Emily was already getting back into her car. She waved and drove off, leaving him standing there, stunned by her kindness. 3 weeks later, Emily woke up to a strange noise outside. It was 6 in the morning, and she was getting ready for her hospital internship when she heard the deep rumble of engines starting and stopping. Curious, she went to the window and couldn't believe her eyes. 7 massive semi-trucks were parked in front of her modest home in Riverside, Austin. The drivers were stepping out, moving with military precision. Emily rushed downstairs, still in her nightgown, and found Tyler in the middle of the group. He smiled when he saw her and motioned for her to come closer. "What's going on here?" she asked, confused and a little nervous. "Remember when you told me to help others? Well, that's exactly what we're doing," Tyler replied. "Dear listener, if you're enjoying this story, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us newcomers out. Now back to the story. One of the drivers, an older man with a grey beard, stepped forward holding a folder. "Miss Emily, my name is Robert Thompson. Tyler told us what you did for him. We're a truck drivers cooperative and we want to repay your kindness." Emily looked around, trying to make sense of it. The neighbors were already peeking through their windows, curious about the unusual commotion on their quiet street. "I don't understand. I just helped him with his car. You don't owe me anything." "Oh, but we do. Tyler found out you're going through financial difficulties. Your mother is sick and needs expensive treatment, isn't she?" Robert continued. Emily's heart raced. How did they know that? She had kept her family's problems a secret to avoid worrying anyone. "How did you—" "Tyler works at my brother-in-law's auto shop. When he told us your story, we learned you study nursing at night and work at a diner during the day to support your family. We also found out your mother, Mrs. Barbara, needs urgent surgery," Robert explained. Tyler stepped forward, his expression serious. "Emily, that day you didn't just fix my car, you saved my job. It was my last chance at the shop. If I hadn't delivered that job, I'd have been fired and lost the money for rent." Tears welled up in Emily's eyes. She had no idea her simple act of help had such an impact. "But you don't owe me anything. I did it because I wanted to help. And that's exactly why we want to give back," said a woman's voice behind her. Emily turned and saw a woman in her 40s with dark hair and a warm smile. "I'm Karen, Robert's wife. When the boys shared your story at the last cooperative meeting, everyone was moved. We decided we wanted to help. Robert opened his bag and pulled out a thick envelope. Here's $15,000. It's what we pooled together among the cooperative members to help with your mother's surgery. Emily nearly fainted. $15,000 was exactly what the doctor had said the private surgery would cost. On the national health system, the wait was 8 months, and Mrs. Barbara didn't have that much time. I can't accept this, it's too much money. You can and you will, Tyler interrupted. You helped me without knowing my story, without knowing if I was a good person, without asking for anything in return. Now it's our turn. Karen stepped closer and took Emily's hands. Sweetheart, everyone here has been through hard times. We know what it's like to feel desperate and find someone who lends a hand. You did that for Tyler. Now we want to do it for you. The other truck drivers gathered, forming a circle around Emily. One by one, they began sharing their stories. I'm Bob, said a short, stocky man. 2 years ago, my semi broke down on a deserted road. A driver stopped and helped me without charging a thing. Ever since, whenever I see someone in need on the road, I stop. My name's Charlie, said another, a young man with a shy smile. When I started in this line of work, I didn't even have money for food. The older folks in the cooperative helped me. Now that I'm settled, I make sure to help the newcomers. One after another, the 7 drivers told stories of how strangers had helped them in tough times and how it had changed their lives. Emily began to cry. She couldn't believe her simple act had sparked such a chain of kindness. But how did you find out about my mother's situation? She asked, still confused. Tyler lowered his head, slightly embarrassed. After you helped me, I got curious about who you were. I asked your neighbor, Mr. Anthony. He told me you worked day and night to support your family and that your mother needed surgery. You looked into my life? Emily felt a little uneasy. I'm sorry, it wasn't with bad intentions. I was just so struck by your kindness. I wanted to be sure you were truly someone special before involving the cooperative. Robert stepped in. Emily, Tyler did this because we've been fooled before. We've helped people who made up sad stories just to get money. We needed to be sure you really deserved our help. And how did you know for sure? Karen smiled. We talked to a lot of people. Your boss at the diner, your classmates, neighbors, your mother's doctor. They all said the same thing, that you're an exceptional person, always helping everyone, even when you don't have much to give. The diner owner, Mrs. Margaret, said you once shared your lunch with classmates who had no money, added Bob. Your college friends told us you always lend materials and help those struggling with coursework, said Charlie. And Mr. Anthony, your neighbor, mentioned you took care of his daughter when she was sick and he had to work, finished Robert. Emily was speechless. She had no idea her small acts of kindness were noticed by so many. See, you didn't just help Tyler. You help everyone around you. That's why we decided we wanted to help you too, said Karen. Just then, the front door opened and Mrs. Barbara appeared, still in her nightgown, leaning on a cane. Emily, my dear, what's going on here? Why are there so many people at our door? Emily rushed to help her mother, a 65-year-old woman with graying hair and eyes weary from illness. Mom, these are Tyler's friends. Remember when I told you I helped a guy with a broken-down car? Of course I remember. So what? Tyler stepped forward respectfully and removed his cap. Mrs. Barbara, I'm Tyler. Your daughter helped me when I needed it most. Now we want to return the favor by helping with your surgery. Mrs. Barbara looked at the envelope in her daughter's hand, then at the sincere faces of the truck drivers. You want to help a stranger? You're no stranger, said Robert. You're Emily's mother, and that's enough for us. Mrs. Barbara began to cry. For months she'd lived in pain, knowing she needed surgery but unable to afford it. She feared becoming a burden to her daughter, who already worked so hard. My daughter has always been like this, she said, her voice trembling. Ever since she was little, always helping everyone. When her father lost his job, she sold candies at school to help at home. That's why she deserves our help, said Karen. People like Emily make the world better. Emily hugged her mother, overwhelmed. Finally, they could schedule the surgery, and Mrs. Barbara could live without pain again. But it's not just the money for the surgery, said Tyler. We have more surprises. Robert signaled to the other drivers, who returned to their semi-trucks and began unloading. "What are you doing?" asked Emily. "Besides the money, each of us brought something," explained Bob, carrying a large box. "Here are leftover medications from my parents. They're the same kind your mother needs." Charlie brought another box. "These are non-perishable foods. My wife insisted on setting them aside for you." One by one, the drivers unloaded groceries, medicine, clothes, even furniture. "Guys, this is too much. I can't accept all this," Emily protested. "Of course you can," said a familiar voice behind her. It was Mr. Anthony, the elderly neighbor who had told Tyler about Emily's situation. "Mr. Anthony, you knew about this?" "Of course, my dear. Tyler came to talk to me a week ago. I told him how special you are, how you always help everyone on this street." Other neighbors began gathering, drawn by the commotion. Mrs. Margaret, the diner owner where Emily worked, arrived breathless. "Emily, what's this about trucks at your door?" Tyler explained the situation to the growing crowd. Soon, a small crowd filled the street, all moved by the story. "I always said this girl is an angel," remarked Mrs. Ethel, an elderly neighbor. "She's helped me so many times when I needed to take my mother to the doctor," said Junior, a young man from down the street. "And she never took anything in return," added Mr. Joseph from next door. Emily was completely overwhelmed. "I had no idea your neighbors noticed your helpful ways so much." Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us newcomers a lot. Now, continuing, Karen approached her. "See, Emily, you sow kindness wherever you go. Now you're reaping what you planted." "But I never did anything expecting anything in return," said Emily. "And that's exactly why you deserve it," replied Robert. "People who help expecting something back aren't truly kind. You help because you have a pure heart." Tyler took Emily's hand. "Can I tell everyone why I decided to reach out to your cooperative?" Emily nodded, still speechless. "That day when my car broke down, I was desperate, not just about work. I'd just found out my girlfriend was cheating on me with my best friend. I couldn't believe in anything anymore, lost faith in people." Silence fell over the street. Everyone was listening intently. When Emily stopped to help me, not knowing anything about me, something shifted inside me. I realized there are still good people in the world. She gave me hope again. Emily wiped the tears streaming down her face. "I had no idea you were going through all that. And you didn't need to know," Tyler continued. "You helped because you saw someone in trouble. Simple as that. That's so rare these days. It changed my life." Robert nodded in agreement. When Tyler shared this at the cooperative meeting, we were all moved. We decided right then we wanted to meet this special person and give back somehow. "But how did you manage to raise so much money?" asked Mrs. Barbara. Bob smiled. "There are 43 of us in the cooperative. Everyone chipped in what they could. Some gave $50, others $200. Robert and Karen gave $500. "And the money came from the heart," added Charlie. "No one was forced. When we told Emily's story, everyone wanted to help." Mrs. Margaret stepped closer to Emily. "My dear, accept this blessing. You deserve all the happiness in the world." Emily looked around at all those kind faces, all those people who had come together to help a stranger. "All right," she said finally. "I'll accept the help, but on one condition." "What?" asked Tyler. "I want everyone to come for lunch here on Sunday. I'll cook for you as my way of thanking you." "But Emily, you can't afford to—" Robert began. "Now we can," Mrs. Barbara interrupted, smiling and pointing to the boxes of food the truck drivers had brought. Everyone laughed, easing the emotional tension. Karen hugged Emily. "I accept the invitation, but only if you let us help cook." "And I'll bring soda," said Bob. "I'll bring dessert," offered Charlie. Soon, everyone was contributing something for Sunday's lunch. Tyler looked at Emily with admiration. "See, even when accepting help, you're thinking of giving back. It's impossible not to like you." Emily blushed slightly at the praise. Mr. Anthony approached her. "My dear, can I say something?" "Of course, Mr. Anthony. You remind me of my late wife. She was like this too, always helping everyone. She used to say kindness multiplies when you sow without expecting a harvest." "Your wife was a wise woman," said Emily. She was, and she'd be so happy seeing this today. Kindness attracting kindness. Mrs. Barbara held her daughter's arm. Emily, can I schedule my surgery now? Yes, Mom. We'll call the doctor today. Robert handed Emily the envelope. All the money's here. We counted it 3 times to be sure. It's exactly $15,000. Emily took the envelope with trembling hands. It was more money than she had ever seen in her entire life. How can I thank you for this? By staying true to who you are, Karen replied. By continuing to help people as you always have. And if you ever need anything, if we do, we'll come to you, Tyler promised. But right now, the important thing is for your mother to get better. The neighbors began to disperse, but not before each made sure to hug Emily and wish Mrs. Barbara luck. When the street finally quieted down, only Emily, Mrs. Barbara, and the 7 drivers from the cooperative remained. Would you like to come in for some coffee? Emily offered. We'd love to, but we need to get back on the road, Robert said. We have deliveries to make. But we'll be back Sunday for lunch, Karen promised. Tyler was the last to say goodbye. Emily, can I talk to you for a minute, in private? They stepped away from the others. I want you to know that day you didn't just fix my car. You saved far more than my job. You restored my faith in people. Emily smiled. I'm glad I could help. And thank you for all this. You've changed our lives. No, Emily, you changed ours. You reminded us that truly good people still exist. Tyler hesitated for a moment, as if he wanted to say more, but then simply smiled and said his goodbyes. Emily and Mrs. Barbara stood at their doorstep, watching the 7 semi-trucks drive away. The rumble of diesel engines echoed down the quiet street until it faded into the distance. My dear, this feels like a dream, Mrs. Barbara said. For me too, Mom. I can't believe this really happened. Your grandmother always said kindness sows miracles. Today I finally understood what she meant. Emily hugged her mother, still processing everything. Mom, let's call Dr. Henry right now to schedule your surgery. Yes, my dear, I can't wait to be free of this pain. They went inside, and Emily picked up the phone. Her heart pounded as she dialed the doctor's office. Dr. Henry, this is Emily, Mrs. Barbara's daughter. Yes, we have the money for the surgery. Can we schedule it for next week? Perfect, thank you. When she hung up, they embraced and cried with emotion. The surgery is set for next Thursday, Emily said. Thank God and those angels who came into our lives, Mrs. Barbara replied. That night, Emily barely slept. She kept thinking about how a simple act of helping someone had sparked such an outpouring of kindness. She remembered her father's words. My dear, do good without expecting anything in return. One day it will come back to you multiplied. Back then she was just a child and didn't fully understand. Now she did. The next day, Emily went to work at the diner with a new smile on her face. Mrs. Margaret noticed immediately. You're glowing today, dear. Is it because of what happened yesterday? Yes, Mrs. Margaret, I still can't believe it all happened. I can. You deserve every happiness. How many times have I seen you help customers who couldn't pay, giving them free meals? You always taught me to help those in need. And you learned well. That's why God sent those angels to repay your kindness. All day, Emily served customers with even more warmth than usual. Everyone who walked into the diner received a genuine smile and special attention. Late in the afternoon, as she was cleaning tables, an elderly woman entered. She looked tired and a little lost. Good afternoon, ma'am. How can I help you? Dear, could I have a glass of water? I'm feeling very weak. Emily immediately set aside what she was doing and hurried to get water for the woman. Have a seat, ma'am. Are you feeling unwell? Just a little dizzy. I think it's because I haven't eaten since yesterday. Emily was immediately concerned. What do you mean you haven't eaten since yesterday? My pension was delayed and I'm out of money, but don't worry, it'll pass. Emily glanced at Mrs. Margaret, who was watching the conversation. The diner owner nodded in approval. Ma'am, how about a sandwich and some juice on the house? No, dear, I can't pay. I said it's on the house, no charge. The woman began to cry. God bless you, child. It's been days since I've met someone so kind. Emily prepared a hearty sandwich and fresh orange juice for her. She sat beside the woman as she ate. "What's your name, Mom?" "Grace. Grace Anderson. And yours?" "Emily. Emily Johnson." "Emily, you have a heart of gold. You don't even know me, and you're helping me. You remind me of my grandmother. Her name was Grace, too. Your grandmother must have been a special woman to raise a granddaughter like you." "She was. She's the one who taught me to help others." Mrs. Grace finished eating and stood up, visibly better. "Emily, how can I thank you for your kindness?" "No need to thank me. Just help someone else when you can." "I will. I promise. Thank you, dear." Mrs. Grace left the diner, and Emily returned to work. Mrs. Margaret approached her. "See, you can't help yourself. Yesterday you got a big gift, and today you're giving away free food again." Emily laughed. "It's stronger than me, Mrs. Margaret. I can't stand seeing someone in need. And that's exactly why you deserve all the blessings coming your way." That night, Emily came home to find her mother in high spirits. "How was your day, Mom?" "Wonderful, dear. I spent the day tidying up for our new friends coming over on Sunday. You didn't have to go to so much trouble. They'll understand our home is simple. Simple but clean and tidy. I want them to feel welcome." Emily helped her mother finish organizing the house. As they cleaned, they talked about the previous day's events. "Mom, something interesting happened at the diner today." Emily told her about Mrs. Grace and how she'd helped the woman. "See, dear, even after receiving so much help yourself, you're still helping others. That's beautiful." "I just can't help it, Mom. When I see someone in need, I have to step in. And that's what makes you special. You haven't changed after getting that money." On Thursday, the day of Mrs. Barbara's surgery, Emily woke up early and nervous. Tyler had called the day before offering a ride to the hospital, but she chose to take a taxi to avoid bothering him. At the hospital, while waiting for her mother to go into surgery, Emily got a call. "Hello, Emily. It's Karen, Charlie's wife." "Hi, Karen. How did you get my number?" "Tyler gave it to me." "I'm calling to check on your mom today." Emily was touched. They barely knew each other, yet they were already concerned about Mrs. Barbara. "She's going into surgery now. I'm so nervous." "I can imagine. Do you want me to come keep you company?" "Don't trouble yourself, Karen. I'm sure you're busy. It's no trouble. Friends help each other. I'm on my way." "Thank you, Karen. I'd really appreciate the company." An hour later, Karen arrived at the hospital with a bag. "I brought sandwiches and coffee. I figured you might be too nervous to eat." Emily was moved again. She'd truly found special people. "Karen, you're amazing. I don't know how to thank you for such kindness." "No need to thank me. We're friends now." They talked in the waiting room for the 3 hours the surgery lasted. Karen shared about her life, about the truck drivers' cooperative, about how she and Robert met. "Robert is also a very kind person," said Karen. "He always helps new drivers, lends money to those going through tough times. You make a beautiful couple." "Thank you." "And what about you, Emily? Do you have a boyfriend?" "No. I never had time for relationships, always working to support the household." "Well, now that your mother is going to be okay, you can think about yourself too." When the doctor finally came out of surgery, Emily was so nervous she could barely speak. "Dr. Emily," called the surgeon. "Yes, that's me." "The surgery was a complete success. Your mother is well and will recover fully." Emily broke down in tears of relief. Karen hugged her, also emotional. "Thank God," whispered Emily. "She's already in her room. In about an hour, she'll wake up from the anesthesia." Emily and Karen went up to the room where Mrs. Barbara was recovering. Even asleep, she looked more at peace, without the pained expression she'd carried for months. "She looks beautiful," said Karen. "She does. Finally pain-free." When Mrs. Barbara woke up, the first thing she saw was her daughter's smiling face. "How are you feeling, Mum?" "Good, my dear, very good. The pain is completely gone." Emily introduced Karen to her mother. "Mum, this is Karen, Robert's wife. She came to keep me company during the surgery." "Nice to meet you, Mrs. Barbara. I'm so glad you're doing well." "Thank you, dear. You are all such blessed people." Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It really helps us who are just starting out. Now, continuing. In the following days, Emily received calls and visits from the drivers at the cooperative, all wanting to know how Mrs. Barbara was doing. Tyler showed up at the hospital with flowers. "How is she?" he asked. "Very well. The doctor said her recovery is going excellently." "That's wonderful. You both deserve all the happiness." Tyler stayed for a while, chatting with the two. Emily noticed he seemed different, happier and more confident. "Tyler, you seem like a whole new person, happier." "That's because I am. After that day you helped me. My life changed completely." "How so?" "Well, first I kept my job. Then I finally ended things with my ex-girlfriend for good. And most importantly, I regained my trust in people." "I'm so glad to hear that." "Emily, can I ask you something personal?" "Of course. Would you like to have dinner with me sometime? Once your mother is better, of course." Emily was surprised by the invitation. She hadn't expected Tyler to have romantic feelings for her. Well, never really thought about it. Sorry if I was too forward. It's just that since that day I haven't been able to stop thinking about you. Not just because of your help, but because of the incredible person you are." Mrs. Barbara, who had been listening, smiled. "Emily, accept the young man's invitation. You deserve to be happy." "Mom, what? He's a good guy. And it's obvious he truly likes you." Tyler laughed at Mrs. Barbara's spontaneity. "Your mother's right. I really do like you a lot, Emily." Emily blushed but smiled. "All right. Once my mum is discharged, we can have dinner." "Really?" Tyler beamed. "Really." On Sunday, lunch at Emily's house became the talk of the neighborhood. The 7 drivers arrived promptly at 11 in the morning, each bringing something. Mrs. Barbara, though still recovering from surgery, insisted on helping in the kitchen. Emily prepared a hearty barbecue and each guest brought a side dish. "This is the best barbecue I've ever had," praised Robert. "The secret is in the seasoning," said Mrs. Barbara. "I learned it from my mother." The table was too small for so many people, so they improvised with extra chairs and stools. Emily's simple home filled with laughter and lively conversation. Bob shared funny stories from the road. Charlie talked about his family back home, and each of them shared a bit of their lives. "You know what's most beautiful about all this?" said Karen, raising her soda glass. "What?" everyone asked. "It started with a simple act of kindness and turned into a family. Look at us here, people who didn't know each other, gathered like we've been relatives for years." "That's true," agreed Emily. "I feel like you all are family." Robert stood up to make a toast. A toast to Emily, who taught us that kindness still exists in the world. "To Emily!" Everyone cheered, raising their glasses. Emily was moved once again. "Thank you, everyone. You've changed my life." "Us? You're the one who changed ours," said Tyler. After lunch, while the women washed dishes in the kitchen, the men gathered in the living room with Mrs. Barbara. "Mrs. Barbara, your daughter is a very special person," said Robert. "I know, she's always been like that since she was little, but sometimes I worry." "Why?" "Because she thinks of others before herself. I'm afraid someone might take advantage of her kindness." Bob, the oldest in the group, stepped closer to Mrs. Barbara. "You don't have to worry. We'll look after her like she's our own daughter. If anyone tries to hurt Emily, they'll have to deal with the whole cooperative." "That's right," the others agreed. Mrs. Barbara was touched. "Thank you, boys. That puts my mind at ease." In the kitchen, the women also talked about Emily. "Karen, can I ask you something?" said Emily as she dried the plates. "Of course." "Did you really do all this just because I helped Tyler?" Karen stopped washing dishes and looked at Emily. "Emily, you still don't get it, do you?" "Get what?" "You didn't just help Tyler. You reminded us that it's worth being a good person. In a world where everyone only thinks of themselves, you did the opposite. But that should be normal." "It should, but it's not." "How many people do you think passed by Tyler that day and didn't stop to help?" Emily thought about the question. "Probably a lot." "Exactly. You were the only one who stopped. And more than that, you worked for hours to help a stranger without asking for anything in return. Anyone would have done the same." "No, Emily, not anyone would. And that's exactly why you're special." When the day ended and everyone left, Emily and Mrs. Barbara stayed on the porch, watching the street return to normal. "It was a beautiful day, my dear." "It really was, Mom. I feel like we've gained a new family." "Because we have. These people are here to stay in our lives." "Mom, can I ask you something?" "Of course." "Do you think I should go out with Tyler?" Mrs. Barbara smiled. "My dear, he's a good man. I could see in his eyes that he truly cares for you, and you deserve to be happy. But what if it doesn't work out? What if it does? You can't be afraid of happiness, Emily." A week later, Emily and Tyler had their first date. He took her to a simple but cozy diner in downtown Austin. "Nervous?" asked Tyler, noticing Emily was quiet. "A little. I've never been in a serious relationship." "Me neither. After my ex, I thought I'd never trust anyone again. And now I know there are real people in the world. People like you." Over dinner, they talked about their lives, dreams, and fears. Emily learned that Tyler was an orphan, raised by his grandmother, and had learned mechanics out of necessity. "My grandma always said life would make up for all the hardships I went through. I think she was right." "Why?" "Because it led me to you." Emily smiled, feeling she was truly starting to like this honest, hard-working man. 3 months later, the relationship between Emily and Tyler was growing stronger. They saw each other almost every day, and he had practically become part of the family. Mrs. Barbara adored Tyler. He always treated her with affection and respect and helped with household chores whenever he could. "Mom, I think I'm falling in love," Emily confided one night. "It's about time, sweetheart. You two make a beautiful couple." "Do you think Dad would approve of him?" "I'm sure he would. Your father always said he wanted a hard-working and honest son-in-law. Tyler is exactly that." During this time, Emily had also grown very close to the truck drivers from the cooperative. They had truly become her chosen family. Robert and Karen invited her for lunch every Sunday. Bob always called to check in on them. Charlie had introduced his wife and kids to Emily. "You're the best friends I've ever had," Emily said at a cooperative meeting Tyler took her to. "And you're the best friend we could ask for," Karen replied. It was at that meeting that Emily met other members of the cooperative and heard more stories about how they supported each other. "Our cooperative isn't just about work," Robert explained. "It's about family. When one of us is struggling, everyone pitches in." Emily was impressed by the group's organization and solidarity. "You're all so inspiring," she said. "Not more than you," Bob answered. "Your story has become an example for everyone here." One day, Emily received an unexpected call. "Hello? Emily? It's Grace. Remember me?" It took Emily a second to place her. "Mrs. Grace, the lady from the diner. How did you get my number?" "I asked Mrs. Margaret. I need to talk to you. It's very important." "What happened, Mrs. Grace?" "I can't say over the phone. Can you meet me at the church square tomorrow at 5 in the afternoon?" Emily was worried by the woman's mysterious tone. "Of course, are you okay?" "Yes, dear. See you tomorrow." The next day, Emily arrived at the square promptly at 5. Mrs. Grace was sitting on a bench with a folder in her hands. "Hi, Mrs. Grace, how are you?" "I'm well, sweetheart. Very well, sit here beside me." Emily sat down, curious. "Remember when you gave me that sandwich at the diner?" "Of course." "You told me to help someone else when I could." "I did." "Well, now it's time for me to repay your kindness." Mrs. Grace opened the folder and pulled out some documents. "Emily, I need to tell you something. I'm not just an ordinary retiree." Emily was confused. "What do you mean?" "My late husband owned a transportation company. When he passed, it came to me. It's small but profitable." Emily still didn't understand where this was going. "Mrs. Grace, I don't get why you're telling me this. That day at the diner, I was going through a really hard time. Not because of money, but because I'd lost hope." "Hope?" "Yes. I felt so alone, so sad. I even thought about selling the company and moving away. Then I walked into that diner." Mrs. Grace took Emily's hand. "Your kindness that day gave me hope again. It reminded me there are still good people in the world." Emily was starting to understand. And what does this have to do with me? I've decided I want to help you. I need someone to run the company, someone trustworthy, kind, who treats employees well. But Mrs. Grace, I don't know anything about running a business. You can learn, and I'll help you every step of the way. The salary is 3 times what you make at the diner. Emily was stunned. Once again, her life was changing because of an act of kindness. I don't know what to say. Say yes. I need someone like you to carry on my husband's work. Can I think about it a little? Of course, dear. But don't take too long. I'm excited to have you on the team. Emily left the square, completely stunned. She rushed home to tell her mother and then called Tyler. Tyler, can you come over? I need to tell you something amazing that happened. Half an hour later, Tyler was at Emily's house listening to her story. I can't believe it. Once again, your kindness is being rewarded, he said. It's such a coincidence, don't you think? It's not a coincidence, Emily. It's a consequence. You plant kindness wherever you go, and now you're reaping the rewards. Mrs. Barbara was also thrilled. My dear, just accept this opportunity. It's the chance of a lifetime. But what if I don't know how to do the job? You'll learn, said Tyler. You're smart and dedicated. It'll work out. The next day, Emily went to the diner to tell Mrs. Margaret about the offer. My dear, what wonderful news. You deserve this opportunity. But I'll miss this place. I've worked with you for so long. And I'll miss you too. But I can't be selfish. This is your chance to grow in life. Emily hugged Mrs. Margaret, moved. You've been like a second mother to me. And you've been like a daughter. Go in peace. I'll always be rooting for you. A week later, Emily started her new job at the transport company. Mrs. Grace welcomed her warmly and introduced her to all the employees. Everyone, this is Emily. She'll be our new administrator. The employees greeted Emily warmly. It was a small company with only 15 employees, but they all seemed like family. Mrs. Grace told me you're a very special person, said Joshua, the company's most senior driver. No more special than all of you, Emily replied. In her first few days, Emily focused on learning how the company worked. Mrs. Grace patiently taught her everything. My husband always said the most important thing in a company is its people. Treat employees well, and they'll take care of the business. Emily took this lesson to heart. She made an effort to get to know each employee, their stories, their needs. She discovered some were struggling financially, while others had personal problems. As always, Emily offered to help. Joshua, I heard your wife is sick. If you need to leave early to take her to the doctor, feel free. Thank you, Mrs. Emily. You're very kind. It's not kindness, it's humanity. Within weeks, Emily had earned the respect and affection of everyone at the company. Productivity improved, and the work environment became more harmonious. Mrs. Grace was impressed. Emily, you have a gift for working with people. The company has never been better. It's just about treating everyone with respect and care. It sounds simple, but not everyone can do it. One day, Emily got a call from Tyler at work. Emily, can you come to the auto shop? There's a surprise for you. What kind of surprise? Just come and see. Emily excused herself from Mrs. Grace and went to the auto shop where Tyler worked. When she arrived, she found Robert, Karen, and other drivers from the cooperative gathered there. What are you all doing here? She asked. We have a proposal for you, said Robert. What proposal? Karen stepped forward with a paper in her hands. Emily, you've known Mrs. Grace's company for a few weeks, right? Yes. And you know she has some semi-trucks? I do. Well, we talked to her and reached an agreement. Emily was curious. What agreement? Robert smiled. She's going to partner with our cooperative. Her trucks will become part of our fleet. That's great for you all. And for you too, said Tyler. For me? Yes, you'll be the general coordinator of the cooperative. You'll handle all the administrative side. Emily was speechless. Are you serious? Very serious, replied Karen. We need someone we can trust to organize our cooperative, and we don't know anyone better than you. But I already work with Mrs. Grace. She'll still be your boss. Only now you'll oversee the entire cooperative, not just her business. Mrs. Grace walked into the auto shop at that moment. "Mrs. Grace, did you know about this?" "Of course, dear. It was my idea. When I met these folks and heard the whole story, I realized it was the perfect match. Now our cooperative will have 43 drivers plus Mrs. Grace's 5, explained Robert, and you'll coordinate everything." Emily looked around at all those friendly, hopeful faces. "You really trust me with this responsibility?" "We trust you with our eyes closed," said Bob. "You're the most honest and dedicated person we know," added Charlie. Tyler stepped closer to her. "Emily, remember when you helped me that day on the road?" "I do." "You didn't know it then, but you weren't just fixing my car. You were building your own future." Emily began to cry with emotion. "What do you mean?" "Everything happening now is because of that moment. Your kindness multiplied and came back to you as opportunities." Mrs. Grace took Emily's hands. "Dear, will you accept being our coordinator?" Emily looked at all those hopeful faces, people she had come to love like family. "I accept," she said through tears. Everyone cheered and hugged her. It was another incredible chapter in a story that had begun with a simple act of kindness. 6 months later, the truck drivers' cooperative was thriving under Emily's leadership. She had improved organization, secured better contracts, and, most importantly, created an environment where everyone felt valued. "Emily, this semester's results are the best in the cooperative's history," Robert said in a meeting. "It's all of your doing. I just organize things." "It's not just organization," Karen said. "It's how you treat people. Everyone works better when they feel respected." Tyler, now officially Emily's boyfriend, was proud of her growth. "You've become a successful businesswoman," he said, "only because I had people who believed in me." Mrs. Barbara, now fully recovered from surgery, was radiant with her daughter's success. "My dear, your father would be so proud if he were alive." "I think he's watching from wherever he is, Mom." One day, Emily received an unexpected visitor at the cooperative's office, a young woman in her 20s, simply dressed and a little shy. "How can I help you?" "My name is Fiona. I heard about you and came for advice." "Have a seat. What can I do for you?" Fiona shared her story. Her father, a driver, had lost his semi-truck to debt, and they were struggling. She wanted to work but had no experience. "Fiona, what kind of work would you like to do?" "Anything, Ma'am. I just need to help my family." Emily saw in the young woman the same determination she'd had when she started working to support her sick mother. "You know what? I need an assistant here at the cooperative. Would you like to learn?" "Really? You'd give me a chance?" "Of course. Everyone deserves an opportunity." Fiona cried with joy. "Thank you, Mum. I promise I won't let you down." "I'm sure you won't." Once again, Emily was planting kindness, and once again that kindness would bear fruit in the future. 2 years after Mrs. Barbara's surgery, Emily and Tyler married in a simple but moving ceremony. All the cooperative's drivers were there, along with neighbors and friends Emily had made over the years. "I've never seen a more beautiful bride," said Mrs. Barbara, emotional. "Thank you, Mom. I'm so happy." "You deserve all the happiness in the world, my dear." During the celebration, Robert gave a heartfelt speech. "Emily, when you helped Tyler that day, you had no idea you were changing all our lives. Today, our cooperative is thriving, our families are stable, and it all started with your kindness." "And now you're starting your own family," Karen added. "I'm sure you'll be very happy." Tyler took the microphone to speak. "Emily, you taught me that truly good people still exist in this world. You restored my faith in humanity and gave me the greatest gift of my life, your love." Everyone applauded, moved. Emily also wanted to say a few words. "Everyone, I want to thank you all. You've changed my life in ways I never imagined. You've proven that kindness begets kindness, that love begets love." "To Emily and Tyler," shouted Mrs. Grace, raising her glass. "To Emily and Tyler," everyone echoed. 3 years later, Emily and Tyler were expecting their first child. The cooperative had grown and now had over 100 truck drivers as members. Fiona, whom Emily had hired as an assistant, was now the administrative manager and had married Charlie, one of the youngest drivers in the cooperative. Emily, thank you for believing in me, Fiona said during a meeting. You earned the opportunity. You worked hard to get where you are. I learned from you that helping others is the best investment we can make. Mrs. Barbara, now 70, was the happiest grandmother in the world. She couldn't wait for her first grandchild to arrive. Emily, when your baby is born, I'll tell them the story of how it all began. What story, Mom? The story of how a kind young woman helped a stranger on the road, and how that kindness multiplied until it changed hundreds of lives. Emily smiled, stroking her belly. It really is a beautiful story. And it's not over yet, Tyler said. Our son will grow up learning the importance of helping others. The day the baby was born, the hospital received an unusual visit. Dozens of truck drivers gathered in the parking lot to meet Emily and Tyler's son. I've never seen so many people come to visit a newborn, remarked one nurse. That's because this baby was born into a very special family, replied another. When Emily saw all their friends gathered to meet her son, she was moved once again. Look how many people came to meet you, my love, she whispered to the baby. Robert approached the crib. What are you naming him? Emily and Tyler exchanged a glance and smiled. Gabriel, they answered together. Gabriel? Karen asked. Yes, Emily explained, because angels brought him into our lives, just like they brought all of you. Everyone was touched by the name choice. Mrs. Barbara cradled her grandson in her arms. Gabriel, you were born into a family that learned kindness is the most important thing in the world. I hope you grow up spreading that kindness wherever you go. The baby opened his little eyes as if understanding every word. 5 years later, Gabriel was already running through the halls of the cooperative's office, spoiled by all the drivers. Emily had become a respected businesswoman in town, but never lost her kind nature. The cooperative now also ran a social program, helping families in need in the area. It was coordinated by Fiona, who had learned from Emily the importance of giving back to the community. Mummy, why is that man sad? Gabriel asked one day, noticing a discouraged driver in the office. He's going through a tough time, sweetheart, but we're going to help him. How? By talking to him, seeing what he needs, and finding a solution. Gabriel watched as Emily Johnson talked to the driver, offering temporary financial help and words of encouragement. Mama, do you always help everyone? Whenever I can, sweetheart. Why? Because when we help someone, we're making the world a better place. And one day when you need help, someone will help you too. Gabriel grew up seeing daily examples of kindness and compassion. He was a happy, affectionate, and generous child. Tyler Williams, who was now a partner in the cooperative, had also become an example of resilience. He had gone from total despair to building a prosperous and happy life. Emily, sometimes I can't believe all of this is real, he said one night as they put Gabriel to bed. Why? Remember how I was that day you found me on the road? I do, you were desperate. I wanted to give up on everything. I couldn't see a way out of my problems. And what changed? You came into my life. You showed me there are still good people, that it's worth believing in the future. Emily kissed her husband, and you showed me that true love exists. They left their son's room and went to the porch of their house, which was now much bigger than the old home where it all began. Tyler, do you think Gabriel will be like us? How so? Kind, willing to help people. I'm sure he will. He's growing up seeing our example and the example of our whole cooperative family. Our family? Emily smiled. Who would have thought helping a stranger on the road would give me such a big family? The next morning, Emily was in her office when she received an unexpected call. Hello. Emily, it's Margaret from the diner. Mrs. Margaret, I've missed you. How are you? I'm well, dear. I'm calling because I need to tell you something. What is it? Remember Mrs. Grace, that elderly lady you helped at the diner years ago? Of course I remember. Why? She passed away last week. Emily's heart tightened. Mrs. Grace had become like a second mother to her. What happened? It was peaceful in her sleep. She had been unwell for a few months. Mrs. Margaret, I need to know. Is there anything I can do? Actually, yes. She left an envelope for you. It says on the outside that only you can open it. Emily rushed to the diner to get the envelope. Her hands trembled as she opened it. My dear Emily, if you're reading this, it means I've gone to reunite with my beloved husband. Don't be sad. I lived a long and happy life, especially after you came into it. I want you to know you changed my last years. Your kindness gave me a reason to live joyfully until the end. Since I have no children, I've left the business to you. It's officially yours now. I know you'll take good care of all the employees and continue the work my husband started. I've also left money in an account that now belongs to you. Use it to expand the cooperative and help more people. Keep being the wonderful person you are. The world needs more people like you. With all my love and gratitude, Grace Anderson. Emily cried as she read the letter. Mrs. Grace had left her not just the business, but also a substantial amount to expand the cooperative. When she got home and told Tyler and Mrs. Barbara, everyone was moved. My dear, even after life, people keep blessing you, said Mrs. Barbara. Kindness doesn't die, Tyler replied. It multiplies and keeps bearing fruit forever. With Mrs. Grace's inheritance, Emily expanded the cooperative to other states. In 10 years, it had become one of the largest transport cooperatives in the country. But Emily never forgot her roots. She maintained social programs, helped truck drivers in need, and always found time for simple acts of kindness. Gabriel, now 15, had inherited his parents' kind-hearted nature. He was a student leader and organized donation drives for families in need. Son, I'm proud of you, Emily said one day. I learned from you, Mom. Dad always says it all started when you helped him on the road. And it's true. One simple act changed our lives forever. That's why I always help my classmates when they need it. You never know what difference you can make in someone's life. Emily hugged her son, moved. The seed of kindness had been planted in the new generation. One Sunday afternoon, 20 years after that day on the road, Emily was organizing a party to celebrate the cooperative's 20th anniversary. Hundreds of people were there. Drivers, family members, employees, local officials, and those who had been helped by the cooperative's social programs. Robert, now retired but still the cooperative's honorary president, gave an emotional speech. Everyone, 20 years ago, a young woman stopped on the road to help a desperate truck driver. That simple act started a chain of kindness that transformed hundreds of lives. Everyone applauded, looking at Emily with warmth and gratitude. Emily taught us that kindness isn't weakness. It's strength, it's courage, it's the most powerful thing in the world. Tyler took the microphone. Emily, you didn't just save my life that day. You saved all of us. You showed us that it's worth being a good person. Gabriel, now a 15-year-old young man, also wanted to speak. Mom, I grew up hearing the story of how it all began. I learned that every person we help can become a blessing in our lives. Emily stood to speak, tears in her eyes. Everyone. When I stopped to help Tyler that day, I never imagined I was planting a seed that would grow into all this. You taught me that kindness multiplies, that love begets love, that when we help someone, we're helping ourselves. She looked at the crowd, seeing faces she had learned to love over the years. Thank you for giving me the chance to make a difference. Thank you for showing me that family isn't just blood. It's a choice. Thank you for proving that good people still exist in this world. Everyone stood and applauded for long minutes. Fiona, now the cooperative's administrative director and mother of 3, approached Emily. Emily, thank you for believing in me when no one else did. Thank you for giving me the chance to help. Karen, who had become Emily's best friend, hugged her. Sis, you changed my life. You taught me that women can be strong and kind at the same time. Mrs. Barbara, now 80 but still sharp and active, held her daughter's hand. My dear, your father would be so proud of the woman you've become. Thank you, Mom, for everything. When the party ended and everyone had left, Emily, Tyler, and Gabriel stayed on the porch as they did every evening. Dad, tell me again how you and Mom met, Gabriel asked. You know this story by heart, son. But I love hearing it. It reminds me that small actions can change everything. Tyler smiled and began telling for the 1000th time how a kind young woman had stopped to help a desperate stranger on the road. And that's how it all began, he finished. With one simple act of kindness that multiplied into endless blessings. Gabriel grew thoughtful. Dad, Mom, do you think my generation will keep spreading kindness? Emily held her son's hand. I'm sure they will, son. Because you're growing up in a world where you've seen kindness work, where helping others brings true happiness. And because you have your own example to follow, added Tyler. I see you and your friends always willing to help each other. Gabriel smiled. I promise I'll keep spreading kindness wherever I go. And when you have children, you'll teach them too, said Emily. Absolutely, Mom. They fell silent for a few minutes, each lost in their own thoughts. You know what amazes me most about this whole story, said Tyler. What? Asked Emily and Gabriel. It's that everything could have been so different. If Emily hadn't stopped that day, if she'd just driven past like most people would have. But she stopped, said Gabriel, because she has a good heart. And because she was raised to help others, added Emily. My parents taught me we should always lend a hand to those in need. And that's what we're teaching you, Tyler said to Gabriel. So this chain of kindness never breaks. That night before bed, Emily said her usual prayer, thanking God for all the blessings in her life and asking for strength to keep helping others. Thank you, Lord, for giving me the chance to make a difference in so many lives. Thank you for bringing Tyler into my path. Thank you for our wonderful family. And thank you for showing me that kindness is the most powerful force in the universe. At 50 years old, Emily looked back and saw a life full of purpose and meaning. She hadn't become wealthy by chance or luck. She'd prospered by planting kindness wherever she went. The cooperative now employed over 1,000 people directly and helped hundreds of families through its social programs. Gabriel was studying business to one day take over the family's work. Tyler had become a respected entrepreneur, but never lost the humility and kindness that defined him. He and Emily were a strong couple, united not just by love, but by the values they shared. Mrs. Barbara, despite her age, was still active and helped Emily with the cooperative's social projects. She was the proudest grandmother in the world. One sunny afternoon, Emily was driving down the same road where it had all begun 20 years earlier. She stopped at the exact spot where she'd met Tyler and stood quietly for a few minutes, remembering the day that changed her life forever. Who would have thought stopping to help a stranger would give me so much, she thought. As she turned back to her car, she saw a young woman stranded on the roadside with a broken-down car. She looked desperate, holding a baby in her arms. Emily didn't hesitate. She stopped immediately and got out to help. Do you need help? The young woman looked at her with relief. My car broke down and I need to get my son to the hospital. He has a high fever. Come on, I'll take you, Emily said, without a second thought. But, Ma'am, I don't want to trouble you. It's no trouble. Get in my car. On the way to the hospital, the young woman shared her story. She was a single mother, working as a cleaner and struggling financially. What's your name? Asked Emily. Bethany Miller. Bethany, once your son is better, if you'd like, I can help you find a better job. Really? Really? I know plenty of businesses looking for workers. Bethany began to cry. You're an angel. I don't know how to thank you. No need to thank me, just help someone else when you can. When they reached the hospital and Bethany's baby was taken care of, Emily gave her a card. Call me tomorrow. We'll talk about that job. I promise I will. Thank you so much. Emily left the hospital with a warm heart. Once again, she'd planted a seed of kindness. She didn't know what fruit it would bear, but she knew it would bear fruit. 2 weeks later, Bethany started working at the cooperative as an administrative assistant. She was dedicated, responsible, and grateful for the opportunity. Emily, thank you for believing in me, she said on her first day. Thank you for giving me the chance to help. Fiona, who now trained new employees, approached Bethany. Welcome to the family. Here you'll learn that work is more than just earning money. It's about making a difference in people's lives. How so? Emily taught us that when we help one another, we all grow together. Bethany smiled, feeling she had found not just a job, but a new family. Gabriel, now 16, watched his mother helping yet another person. "Mom, you never stop helping others, do you? And you? You never stop either. I learned from you. Dad always tells the story of how it all began when you helped him, and one day you'll tell your children how it all continued because you helped people too." "I will, Mom." That night, during family dinner, Emily shared about Bethany. "Another life to transform?" asked Tyler, smiling. "I hope so." "I'm sure of it," said Mrs. Barbara. "You have a gift for seeing people's potential." "It's not a gift, Mom. It's care. When we treat people with kindness, they flourish." Gabriel raised his glass of juice. "Her toast to Mom, who never stops planting kindness." "To Mom," Tyler and Mrs. Barbara said together. Emily smiled, moved. She was certain she had chosen the right path in life. The end of the story. And what about you, dear listener? What did you think of Emily's story? Do you believe small acts of kindness can truly transform lives? Have you ever had a similar experience, where helping someone brought unexpected blessings into your own life? Share your thoughts in the comments and tell your own story of kindness. If this narrative touched your heart, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss other heartwarming stories that prove doing good is still worth it.